Good evening, everybody. Thank you so much for joining me today. I see comment finally. Yeah, I finally just literally returned from all the events today. I was in the press pool with Second Gentleman, cruising around New York, attending several events. I published the first remarks or first article about one of the events already. So I hope you have read it. If not, it will be in your newsletter and also on the website, so you can read it separately. And I will talk about that. I'll talk about that in detail and have all the readouts and receipts for you as well. Again, thank you for joining. If it's your first time joining today, please feel welcome to ask questions, to provide your feedback, to correct me if you think that something that I'm saying is not corresponding with what you know. I gladly stay corrected if it's factual, and we check it together, and we move on. And please add your voice to this conversation. It's very, very important. I hope you're doing well. I hope you're safe and sound. Again, actual news today, everything that is factual and that matters. Okay, so let's talk first about the Harris-Walz campaign, because that's what I really, did all day today. And we're going to talk about Trump campaign too, briefly as well. So first, Harris-Walz is mobilizing young voters with a really huge registration push. Vice President Harris kicked off these efforts in Philadelphia, while Governor Walz focused on North Carolina and Georgia. And here's a really authentic video. You know how I like authentic videos of Governor Walz, who, by the way, I'm going to be seeing on Saturday. Here's him at Georgia Tech. Take a look.
Welcome to our campus.
Yeah, thank you. First time here. It's gorgeous, by
yes.
the way.
It's beautiful. I love it.
Yeah.
All right, I'm feeling good. Everybody registered to vote?
Absolutely.
Yes, thank goodness.
Having someone who really stands for democracy and voting rights and abortion and just all the things that college students really care about.
Well, first of all, thank you for having me on this beautiful campus. I got my gear now. If I could just say anything, it's National Voter Registration Day. It's iwillvote.com. Then research the issues and cast your vote. Our democracy depends on it. Thank you all. Really grateful. Thank you all. Sorry to interrupt your lunch, so thank you. I hope everybody's registered to vote.
So cute. And by the way, hi, everybody. I see your comments. Yami says, finally, hey, hello. Thank you for waiting. Hi, Brandon. Hi, Michael. Hi, Terry. Hello. That was a great summary of the NYC fundraiser with M. Hoff. Loved the details. Thank you. Thank you so much for reading. Many details are coming also about the Brooklyn event, and I have the signs with me too to prove that I was there. Only editorial footage coverage allowed with Second Gentleman, so no pictures, no stills, no videos. By the way, at the first event that Terry is referring to, at this elite high society thing, on the Upper East Side in Manhattan, there were 3 accredited publications that were covering it: ABC, us, all of us, Onest Network, and Columbia University. It was like a student engagement thing. They sent one person to cover. At the evening event in Brooklyn, it was again, what was that? It was the Columbia University, again, continuing with the student thing. It was, I believe, CNN and Onest. So not many. I mean, we're 3 of us. So we're good. We're good. We're moving up. Just an observation, but I've noticed Walz hasn't been interrupted by a pro-Palestine protester at this event yet. Indeed. And I see comments, when people are like constantly being very, very negative. As if Kamala Harris is sort of anti-Israel. She isn't. So I'm not sure where it's come from. Yahoo! This is so cool. 1 of 3, and you were there. Yes, guys, we made it. It's all us together. And by the way, that platform is almost ready. I'm just figuring out how to secure our chat, giving our last experiences. So if you have signed up, by the way, to watch our watch party tomorrow, 8 p.m. Kamala Harris and Oprah Winfrey. If you want to watch it together, chit chat with like-minded people, please RSVP. I'm going to tap the link, and everything has been transferred now to the website system. So all the RSVPs, all the calendar with watch parties is in one spot, so you don't have to mix and match with links. We will be ultimately watching all the watch parties and chit-chatting within our system, where you create your profile, you have your login. Nobody tracks that, nobody saves your emails even. It's very protective. I'm going to be talking in detail very soon about it. If we can manage to secure the chat, for sure, by tomorrow we will be using the new system. If not, we will be using our Google Meet that we have used before, which I know you guys enjoyed. So main thing, we are safe and sound, right? Because we have to protect our sanity, and nobody needs trolls. We have them everywhere. We have them on Twitter shitter. We have it everywhere. Okay, so also recently, if you have not noticed, and perhaps you're not into music, but Billie Eilish is kind of like a big thing. Yeah. Billie Eilish and Finnis, it's her brother, endorsed VP Harris, encouraging their 200 million followers to register to vote if they are eligible. Take a look at the video, and please don't post comments about being anti-Israel and whatnot. It's not about that. It's about them endorsing VP Harris. Take a look.
Today is National Voter Registration Day, and we are asking you to please join us in going to iwillvote.com to check your status and vote early like we do.
We are voting for Kamala Harris and Tim Walz because they are fighting to protect our reproductive freedom, our planet, and our democracy.
We can't let extremists control our lives, our freedoms, and our future. The only way to stop them and the dangerous Project 2025 agenda is to vote and elect Kamala Harris.
Vote like your life depends on it, because it does.
Go to iwillvote.com and make a plan to vote early.
Love you guys.
All right. And Sierra, thank you for watching, and thank you. I'm also grateful for you guys joining the watch parties. This really came out of blue, and we have so much fun. I just want to make sure we're safe. When I create a platform, I have to ensure we don't have trolls. We have the tools to block them, but I want to prevent them. Okay, so now also this week, Harris Walz team also will host over 130 events aimed at registering young voters. And at one of those events was the very famous Jane Fonda. She went to Michigan. Take a look.
And I've been here many times, Benton Harbor and Flint, and all over. I love this state. We're going to stay with you. And I do, this November, we're all, between now and November, going to do everything we possibly can to get our climate champions that are here and others elected to office, and get Kamala Harris and Tim Walz elected to office.
Yes, and I see your comments. Love you, but no to Oprah. I feel you. I totally do. Tomorrow I'm hosting this for Kamala Harris, not really about Oprah. I hope she doesn't speak much. Dr. Phil, Jenny McCarthy, Joel Osteen. Yeah, I feel you. I know. But if you don't want to watch tomorrow, October 1st will be our watch party for the debate, the vice presidential debate, where it looks like I will be covering on the spot at CBS together with our photographer. And live stream will be hosted as a watch party, where our production team will tune me in as a reporter from the CBS headquarters. So we're working on it, and watch party will be really cool. So sign up for that. By the way, as I'm talking about it, why wouldn't I show it? Here you go. So RSVP, it's everywhere. I'm going to post one link. It's on our website now under one very short link. So you can sign up and RSVP to everything from one spot. So we're working on it very fast and very prompt. Safe from the hackers too. Indeed. Exactly. That's the main point. Jane Fonda did door knocking, saw a clip of her meeting a voter. Yes. And then they start hugging and crying. Yeah. I mean, imagine somebody knocks on your door and here's Jane Fonda. Instead of a bottle of water, I wonder if Governor Walz was bringing a donut to the debate. I think he's going to show up with a cat. He's a cat owner. I would just bring a kitty cat, just freak the guy out. And I will read out about Doug Emhoff and JD Vance coming up. So Teamsters, I understand today was a whole hoopla about the Teamsters. So Kamala Harris, who went yesterday to their meeting and chit-chatted with them. It was their voting whatever meeting in DC. And then today they wrote this vague email where they posted their sort of like exit polls or voting polls among Teamsters, where allegedly Trump was leading. And then Trump, of course, used it to really harass Kamala Harris. I'm not even going to mention those emails or show them to you. It's like she did her best and they didn't answer her call to endorse her. But also, Teamsters unions in key battleground states have announced their endorsement of Kamala Harris for president. Joint councils representing over 500,000 Teamsters in Michigan, Nevada, Wisconsin, and other states made the announcement today. This endorsement builds on previous support from locals in Philadelphia and nationwide, as well as endorsements from Teamsters National Black Caucus and retirees. So, they're not one union when it comes to endorsements. They're split. So let's not see it one way or the other, and let's not certainly flip the narrative. And by the way, this is going to make you laugh. When I showed up today at the first event, Michigan Teamsters endorsed Kamala today. Yep, as I just mentioned, Teamsters leadership at the highest level proved themselves to be a shit show. I'm glad all the state locals were ready to fire back. Exactly, that's leadership and that's actual members. And you're going to laugh. So Trump today, right, was in New York, and we're going to talk about him soon, unfortunately. And we spotted, literally, we spotted his plane. I was at LaGuardia, spotted his plane at LaGuardia Airport. And then this whole thing came out again. There was bomb threats again. There was something in the car. And then it was debunked within 20 minutes. And so I show up at the event and there's the ABC, right? And I said, how fast did you debunk this? Because I remember I retweeted your thing, which went viral. We have 1.5 million views on that thing. Remember, I retweeted ABC saying that this was not an assassination attempt, it was a security breach, right? With the Mar-a-Lago Trump golf course, Trump National Golf Course. And they were laughing. And I said, how fast did you debunk it now? Did you really wait now 24 hours? I said, I retweeted you. They're like, oh, we noticed. So they debunked it right away. They said less than 20 minutes. So they're like, we have nothing to do with that. So just pinpointing, Teamsters didn't endorse Trump either. Exactly, Brandon. He flipped it in the email. He said, oh, they didn't endorse her, but here's my exit poll. So, and by the way, with the media, there was also BBC at some point somewhere. We talked about it, and they said that there's such a distrust, and they compared it to UK, where you can enter any meeting, you can enter any debate, you can cover pretty much anything. And here is such a distrust towards media because so much is being flipped, right? And I mentioned to them that when I'm at the White House and I'm seated right next to Fox News, we're watching the same event, with our own eyes. And then they report one thing, I report completely the other. And you think like, what were you watching? What type of eyes do you have? So, Teamsters president was just salty he didn't get speaking slot at the DNC because he spoke at exactly. That's a very good point, Keith. Teamsters didn't, read that. You guys are having conversation. Okay, let's move on. So VP was speaking at Hispanic Caucus today at the conference. Audience members rose to their feet in a brief standing ovation as Vice President Kamala Harris walked on stage. I did stream it, so if you want to watch the video, please do. After expressing her gratitude to the attendees and organizers, Harris began by sharing her personal story. She described her mother as a 5-foot-tall brown woman with an accent, noting that despite the challenges she faced, she never lost her cool. Harris also detailed her background as a prosecutor in California. Quote, when I stand before you today, this is not just something that I decided to do, but really is about a lifelong career that has been about fighting for people. End quote, Harris said. Again, quote, I have been proud to fight alongside the members and the leaders of this incredible caucus. End quote. Harris shifted to some recurring themes of her campaign, emphasizing fight for the future, her vision for an opportunity economy, and contrasting it with the opposing campaign's vision. She specifically highlighted her proposal to provide first-time home buyers, and I hope you heard that. She will be providing $25,000 in down payment assistance, and her goal to cap out-of-pocket prescription drug expenses at $2,000. Again, our lawyer. Every time I'm live, we have a, yeah. Anyway, apologies. She warned that former President Trump aims to halt the Medicare prescription drug negotiations authorized by the Inflation Reduction Act and expressed her desire to expand the child tax credit. As Harris spoke, the audience listened intently, cheering and intermittently, especially when she addressed immigration issues. She said, "We can do both, create an earned pathway to citizenship and ensure our borders are safe," which is really a good statement. And I'm waiting for her to take a stance. And she slowly does that. She took a stance on Gaza yesterday at NABJ. She said the Gaza borders will not be violated. There will be no invasion, but we need to find peace. We need to be secure. And she's pushing Israel to find diplomatic solution and do it so fast, so we have at least some hostages that are alive and will be released, because it's been almost a year. October 7th, almost a year. And now also in terms of the border, she's saying we have to fix our broken immigration system, but we also have to provide opportunity to legally immigrate. As opposed to Trump, who will do mass migration. And I just want to ask you to imagine how this is going to look like. Imagine you live in an apartment building and suddenly there's ICE and there's like raiding everything. And how would they know that you're legal and your neighbor, Joe Schmo is not legal? So many mistakes will be made. So touching on reproductive rights, Harris noted that 40% of Latinos now live in states with abortion bans, referencing a recent ProPublica report about a woman who died in Georgia after being denied timely abortion services. Harris concluded with her slogan, "When we fight, we win." So today, second gentleman in an NYC, you can read the full readout about the Upper West Side thing. So here's my description, right? Unfiltered. It was on Fifth Avenue, right across the Central Park. Very fancy, very elite, very upscale, and very white. If I said unfiltered. So high level donors, right? Those people who are not famous in terms of like stars or whatever, but they hold very prominent positions. Second gentleman was introduced by former Vice President Harris's deputy chief of staff, who worked for her for the first 1.5 years in DC. He works for a different organization now, but he said that she's ready. She's been ready from day one. He traveled with her together. He had the honor to serve her administration. He mentioned how she traveled to Kiev, talking to Zelensky right before the Russian invasion to Ukraine. He introduced second gentleman as a lawyer with a very prominent career as an entertainment lawyer in Hollywood, which was his dream that later Doug Emhoff also explained, but he had to give up everything to serve the country and really put himself, as number two within that family, and allow Kamala Harris to really become everything she was dreamed of, right? And president is ultimately the goal. Then second gentleman spoke. He shared some personal stories. He talked about the debate. He explained how the debate started, and even prior to that they're missing their romantic time that kids always never liked, but they were granted this romantic walk. If you remember, I showed this footage right before the debate in Pennsylvania, in Philadelphia. But unfortunately, that was all at the tarmac, like where Air Force Two was parked, and had so much media screaming at them. And then he saw Kamala Harris, like he was afraid to ask her if she's ready for the debate. And then as media was screaming at her, she turned around and gave him the look and said, "I'm ready." So he realized, okay, she's ready. And so that's when he posted on social media that she is ready. I proved it. And so he was very proud. He said she exceeded expectations both at the DNC. There was so much pressure. He also talked about July 21st, how they took the news when President Biden, as he referred to, ceased his campaign, and how she stepped up. And she said, I need to step up. I need to do what's required from me. It was not ego driven as opposed to Trump, but it was more like, okay, if Biden cannot do it or will not do it, I'm the one to step in because I can lead this campaign. I can use the funds and I can be the president. And I'm ready. So he talked about the debate. He made the joke about the concept of a plan after 10 years of complaining that Obamacare, Biden care, whatever, Biden economics are a shit show, but no plans whatsoever. 10 years he's complaining, no plans. When he was president, Doug Emhoff said that Trump promised a lot, delivered a little. So what are you going to expect here? And he said, listen, let's be frank, women are dying. Like, for instance, the vote yesterday at the Senate against the IVF, and also which prompts doctors to leave those states because they cannot perform abortion care services, but also IVF and other. So they're closing offices, they're moving away, which makes women also lacking principal care, right? He talked about, other, when you go to the doctor and try to get any type of care aside from IVF and abortion. So women are lacking care as a result of this ruling. Then he talked about the Dobbs decision and how Kamala Harris was very upset and enraged and called him right away. And she said, we have to fight. We have to do something about it. And then he talked about himself, that per Kamala Harris advice from day one, he took over the anti-Semitic initiative at the White House, and he's meeting with leaders of the Jewish community. A week ago, he spoke at the prominent synagogue at Park Avenue, New York, which, if you know New York, this is synagogue is the thing. It rules New York. Bloomberg goes there. It's just the seats at the synagogue are actually inherited. Like, if your father was sitting there, you probably will be sitting there. It's very special to be speaking there because so many influential people are there. And so, it was very touching, was intimate, because not many could go there. And again, media was very much selected. And I mentioned yesterday, I didn't receive emails. So it's very last moment, very much selected. They prove what you write, what you do, because it's literally somebody's home, somebody's multi-million-dollar home. With all the people there that are of this caliber. So very intimate, but very exciting, very enthusiastic. And he said, ultimately, let's turn the enthusiasm into votes. And he said, look, donating is great. Showing up is great, but talk to your friends, talk to your influential Republicans who are sick and tired of Trump's deranged talking and hatred and all this divisive rhetoric. So talk to them that Kamala Harris is their solution. Even if they don't agree with her on policies, she is still the one who is defending Constitution and the rule of law. Aside from the other party that does completely the reverse. And then he talked about Project 2025 as well. So this was the first event. Now, second event, completely different situation. So the speech was echoing the first speech. I have a readout, but it's really mostly same. He was introduced by Spike Lee's daughter. This was in Brooklyn. Imagine a bar with sort of where you can have concerts too, in Williamsburg, Brooklyn. Very hip, a very upbeat, younger crowd. Everybody was holding signs. Here you go. I have one too now. Take a look. So I have one. I have another one. Here you go. Ta-da! So everybody was holding those signs. and bring them up. I was jealous that I never had that sign. And they said media is not allowed to take the signs, but I waited. I waited till everybody left, and I got the signs. So I can show you that that was the purpose. But no pictures, no nothing. I took my phone to take a picture of Spike Lee, and they're like tapping me on the shoulder, like no stills. Okay, I got it. So everybody was waving the signs, very enthusiastic crowd, sold out. At the end, they announced that the crowd in Brooklyn and this venue raised $500,000 for Kamala Harris. Spike Lee's daughter introduced Doug Emhoff and Ella, Doug's daughter. Also, Doug's sister was there with her family. He said that the entire family, including his ex-wife, are all involved in this campaign. Everybody's knocking on doors, everybody's making calls. They're like, this is our life's purpose. The entire family is working on it. Then he talked about Ella, and also how when the Dobbs decision came through with the Supreme Court, he mentioned how she texted him, and he read out text, and she was kind of embarrassed standing there, but they all were dressed like in black suits with like light shirts and very top notch. She was standing on stage all this time, and he said how Ella texted him and said, listen, Dad, it's time to fight. We need to win. We need to fight. This is, and everybody, of course, cheered. And by the way, anything he said, everybody was like waving the signs and like, screaming, stomping, like so much energy, so much energy. And he then reenacted the beginning of the debate. He put Ella as Trump, and then he stomped to him and said, Kamala Harris, I wish you a good debate. And everybody was cheering. Then he talked about J.D. Vance, and he said, listen, just remember what Kamala Harris said about the devastating and incredibly disgusting treatment of immigrants from Haiti, especially in Ohio, in Springfield, Ohio, and how then J.D. Vance supported this rhetoric, and he thinks it's funny, and he thinks this is some sort of a thing they have to run with because they want to prevent elections, including to the Senate and the Congress from Ohio, which is another story which I will share tomorrow, because I got some emails on that too. And by the way, if you send me that information, I thank you. I didn't reply to you, but I will tomorrow. And so he then, at this point, he referred to J.D. Vance as the little sidekick. And he said, listen, I'm just referring to J.D. Vance as a little sidekick. Let me read out to you the exact quote that he said about J.D. Vance. J.D. Vance, my goodness, what is his obsession with cats? He's worried about women who own them and makes up stories about people eating them. And a woman cheered, it's weird. And he said, it's not just weird, it's misogynistic, it's disgusting. So he then talked about Trump. He said, he quoted Kamala Harris calling him a disgrace into his face. He said he was talking so much crap about Kamala Harris and really, he said, throwing so much shit in her direction. And then she said, listen, if you have something to say it in my face. And everybody cheered and said, "Stand into my face." And then when he had a chance, right, when he met her, she stomped to him. She's introduced herself, and he never looked in her direction. He was really, not even having the courage to do so or saying something into her face. And then he said, "My wife," quoting him, had no problem with that. So she said, "You are a disgrace. Your own generals are laughing at you." And why did he says that? Why did she say that? Because it's true. The crowd cheered. And then he said, "Would you hire him for anything, let alone president of the United States?" And the crowd said, "No." Right? So then he mentioned the latest hit on Kamala, that somehow she is lacking, because she doesn't own kids, have her own kids, right, biological kids, there is nothing to keep her humble. And then he said, but listen, truth be told, Kamala Harris is the one who kept Trump humble at the debate. Then he mentioned that Trump and his campaign are trying to pin everybody, pin everybody against each other. He said, but women are sick and tired of men taking away their fundamental rights and be gaslit about it, followed by standing ovation and loud cheers. Then Emhoff recalled Harris commenting on Trump's hateful comments about Haitians and referred to J.D. Vance as little sidekick. I read that already. He talked about his mother being upset about the Dobbs decision, where she said, listen, I'm 80 something years old. How come I had this privilege to enjoy my reproductive rights, right? Or access to my reproductive care. And now my granddaughter Ella will not have that. So she mentioned that she was very upset about that too. He said women are actually dying, condemning the decision to let the states regulate abortion, as these extreme regimes prohibit women not only from abortion access but fundamental rights and simple care. He called it immoral if there is inability to have abortion after your family member has raped you. And then he talked about specific cases. He talked about Project 2025, quote, we know what the game is, mentioning abortion and Trump, that Trump is in favor of banning the bill that allows abortion. Then he said, what else can we come after? So he said, look, when they're writing the Project 2025 and when they're thinking about women, they're afraid of women, and they think, what else can we come behind? What else can we take away from women? And he said, but women are sick and tired, so go out and vote. We got to be. And then he said, look, as a lawyer, he was instructed to stay mad, right? Because you can channel your anger into action. And then he said, quote, we got to be pissed off and turn that into action. Let's get registered and vote. And then Spike Lee came out. He talked about not allowing another January 6th to happen, because he said, look, any remake is even worse than the actual premiere, and it will be worse. And so we have to keep our head on a swivel. And he, of course, said it's Brooklyn in the house. Everybody cheered. And he turned to Doug Emhoff and said, quote, we're married to two strong sisters. Sometimes they're too strong for us, but we're doing a good job, keeping up. And then Spike Lee spoke about this thing being very close. He referred to as, when you watch a Knicks game, he didn't name Knicks, but he said a certain team we're cheering for. And of course, we know he is a Knicks fan. And where you think that the game will be won already, but the last second something goes wrong and your opponent wins. So let's not make that our reality on November 5th. So go out and vote and register. And the crowd was very, very enthusiastic. So that's about the event, but you're going to have like a nice written readout with more details as well. I'm a nerd about details. I think we call it color, especially in press pool, where you add like more genuine description and feelings right aside from the facts, right? He said this, she said that, by. So I think providing an opportunity for you to feel like you were almost there, like at the event, and imagining it together, I think that's cool. All right, let's talk about Trump. Let me check your comments. Trump, Vance want to deport legal Haitians. Of course, they would deport me, and I'm a citizen. Toast is done. Yeah. Oh, yeah, you're eating. Okay, have a good meal. Have a good meal, Daniel. Trump plan is very expensive. Yes, mass deportation, mass racial profiling, discrimination, similar to stop and risk. And to your point, yes, Keith. And also, I want to encourage all the white people not to feel safe either, because if this goes against any ethnicity, it will go any ethnicity, even if you're white. If you think you're white, you're safe. Hell no. They're going to be like the Eastern Europeans and the Germans and the Italians and the Irish. I will encourage you, watch a movie, Cabrini, 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 about Italian nun that came to New York from Italy, naturally. And she took care of kids, and she built hospitals that are still existing all around the globe. The Cabrini initiative, and how she fought for it. And there you'll see how Italians were treated, how Irish were treating Italians, and this is all white people. Okay, so don't think that you're safe. All right, vote. Doug and Kamala make a good team. Yeah, a perfect team, really perfect team. And it really makes me wonder, like, this is what a strong man looks like, right? The one who endorses women and surrounds himself with strong women and recognize them as such. Good job, thank you. Cool keepsakes. Yeah, indeed. Just like Hitler, no one is safe. Exactly. Yeah, I saw the movie. It was excellent. Yeah, I was at the premiere and I spoke to the actors that did a pretty great job, and also the also Cabrini Foundation. I was at the premiere. It's half a year in New York. I remember it was cold. It was beautiful. Please watch it. It's not an easy one, but it will teach you a lot. Okay, let's talk about Trump. Let's start with his woman. She posted a video today. It's just beginning of it. Take a listen.
Why do I stand proudly behind my nude modeling work? The more pressing question is, why has the media chosen to scrutinize my celebration of the human form in a fashion photo shoot?
And she added pictures of Michelangelo, and I love Met Museum. I love Metropolitan Museum of Art. I go there to find my peace. If I could go every week, I would be there. I'm a member. There's all the statues that she's referring to. You can't find this there or this there. That ain't art, honey. That ain't art. What you did here is AI. Yeah, probably it's not her speaking. Doesn't sound like her. And I just showed you pictures that I'm allowed to show because she's naked. Porn can be art too, in a way. But you were here, an immigrant, model, willing to do anything to stay here and get yourself a husband. And you got yourself a husband. And you were illegal when you got yourself a husband. You overstayed your visa. My question is this. It's not about her. God bless her. I don't think she wanted to be first lady. I don't think she now wants to be a first lady. She wanted a husband, and she wanted a green card, and she wanted money. Got all of it. Now this. I feel for her, actually. Now, what are the values of the Republican Party? So either you frame women as childbearing creatures in 2025, your project, right? You just have to be in the kitchen, you have to make babies and be again in the kitchen while you make another babies with your own oven. Or is it about embracing an immigrant doing porn shoots? What are your values? Your values are only like what fits your narrative right at this moment. Whatever fits my narrative, that's good, and everything else is bad. So if you are a Republican, consider voting for somebody who stands for the Constitution and actual values. Okay? Somebody who has a husband, somebody who has no porn shoots. Just saying. This is the plane that we spotted today at LaGuardia. Trump was there, is there. Pretty tiny plane, I must say. Very tiny. So Trump was on Long Island today, New York. Long Island is Long Island, same as Staten Island, Staten Island. Manhattan is Manhattan, Queens is Queens, Brooklyn is Brooklyn. Upstate New York, we also have Magaville somewhere. So it's not whole New York, but he knew exactly where he was going to. And remember, I was telling you how President Biden on Saturday this week is welcoming the leaders of the three nations, Japan, Australia, India, to Wilmington, Delaware. Rumor is to his house, but I'm not going to say it before I know it. So Modi, the leader of India, is coming to Biden. Now, Trump claimed he's going to meet him too. Take a look.
He happens to be coming to meet me next week. And Modi, he's fantastic. I mean, fantastic man. A lot of these leaders are fantastic. You have to understand one thing. They're 100%. These people are the sharpest people. They're not a little bit backward. They are at the top. You know the expression, they're at the top of their game, and they use it against us. But India is very tough. Brazil is very tough. There are certain countries, I can tell you every one. I can give you from top to bottom. China is the toughest of all, but we were taking care of China with the tariffs. So we're going to do a reciprocal trade. If anybody charges us 10 cents, if they charge us $2, if they charge us 100%, 250, we charge them the same thing. And you know what's going to happen? Everything's going to disappear, and we're going to end up having free trade again. And if it doesn't disappear, we're going to take in a lot of money. Okay?
Well, it's been a long day. It's been a long day. Backwards. Yes, he said backwards. He also said top and down, top and bottom. Oh God. I talked to a girl today. She went to the rally, and she said that it was such a hostile environment where she's British. She said, I could interview people because I don't really have the emotional feeling. I'm from Britain. And when they hear the accent, they were more tolerant and saying, this is what's happening in the country. This is what needs to happen. But then another American reporter, she said, had to turn around and go home because they made her cry. They harassed her. So the party of the people. Right. Melania, was she talking about? No one is talking about her nude modeling. Nobody does. I either fear somebody will. It's coming up, right? Because somehow Trump is pooping on New York Times suddenly, or there will be maybe PP tapes revealed. Something will be. So she's kind of like pre-announcing it. That's weird. Why would she post that? Tell me. I don't know. Hard to feel for her. Yeah, I'm not feeling for her. I'm just being polite. Yeah, the birtherism and nonsense with her husband. Yeah, who knows if he's still a husband? Have we seen divorce papers? We don't know. See, if they claim Kamala Harris was born here, and obviously Obama they claim wasn't born here, why wouldn't we claim they're still married? Who knows? But we're not spreading conspiracies. I would just prefer not to hear all of that, or not to look up her pictures, because now my algorithm, when I Google stuff, I see, I don't want to see it. Other thing, Trump obviously tries to become a comedian. He said he's going to win New York.
And the reason I'm here is because it hasn't been done in many decades. It hasn't been done for a long time, but we are going to win New York.
Bye, Felicia. No, ain't nobody winning here. No. Now, good news. Federal Reserve reduced interest rates by 0.5%. Here we go. 0.5 percentage point, and indicated that 2 additional cuts of 25 basis points, so 0.25, are anticipated for the remainder of the year. So they're doing it for the first time since the pandemic, first time in the last 4 years. Again, Trump's team will say, well, they're happy, they're helping Harris to win. But Harris issued a statement. She said, while the announcement is welcome news for Americans, I know prices are still too high for many middle class and working families, and my top priority as president will be to lower the cost of everyday needs like healthcare, housing, and groceries. This is why I'm proposing plans to cut tax for more than 100 million working and middle class Americans, pass the first ever federal ban and corporate price gouging on food and groceries, and make housing more affordable by building 3 million new homes and giving more Americans down payment assistance. But we also need to go further to create an opportunity economy where, with hard work and ambition, everyone has a chance to compete and a chance to succeed, from buying a home to starting a business and building wealth. I will post the entire statement in the newsletter. By the way, if you're not subscribed, get your free newsletter, onest.substack.com. Please get there. So bunch of news. What I'm not mentioning here, a lot, right? Because I'm also with my other ear covering the Air Force conference, and there's so much about nuclear capabilities, about new airplanes and new. So it's going on from yesterday till tomorrow. So I'm covering it. There will be some articles about that today and more of that tomorrow. So please read about it. It's certainly very, very important. State Department today announced that they officially launched a new online passport renewal system, finally making it easier than ever for Americans to access passport services. No more paper applications or checks. Now you can renew your passport securely online, saving time and effort. This upgrade is a part of a broader effort to modernize government services and improve the customer experience following President Biden's executive order. Biden delivers. But they say, where is he? What is he doing? What is he doing? Bye, Felicia. Yeah. Great newsletter. Thank you, NGM. Appreciate you. Thank you. That's the definition of delusion. Yeah, exactly. I encourage him to spend lots more campaign time in safe blue states. I can't wait, honestly, to cover Tim Walz. I know it's off topic here. Just to give you the details that are not being reported, because we're like seeing the same speech and then or like speeches that echoing each other, which is normal for campaign, but then hearing what other people have to say. I would love to interview people who are at the campaign, so if we can make it on Saturday, we certainly will. We're working on it. All right, so Treasury. Other news that are not reported. The U.S. Treasury and IRS have released new guidance to expand alternative fuel vehicle refueling property credit, part of the Inflation Reduction Act. The initiative aims to lower transportation costs and enhance energy security by making investments in electric vehicle charging and alternative fuel infrastructure more accessible. Individuals can claim up to $1,000 and businesses up to $100,000 for eligible installations, particularly in low-income and rural areas. With this guidance, the Biden-Harris administration is committed to making clean vehicles more affordable while creating jobs and strengthening the domestic supply chain. So if this is within your interest scope, it will be in the newsletter with all the details, right? If you want to open like not a gas station, but like electric station, you're probably going to make lots of money here. Comment. Passport renewal is a huge win. It is. Yeah. Me, for the first time, I went to USPS and I did the passport, and I'm from Europe. Like, we don't have that. I'm thinking, wow, that's how you do it. Do you like, and also when you extend your passport, you had to send your old one and pretty much like wait without passportless. Now you don't have to do it. So you renew it and you still keep your old one, which is big news. Now, Department of Transportation and my favorite, I'm sorry, I have to be neutral. Anyway, my favorite, Pete Buttigieg. So the U.S. Department of Transportation is highlighting the significant advancements made under President Biden's bipartisan infrastructure law with the release of a new fact sheet. And you bet I have it. Here you go. To date, over 60,000 projects are underway thanks to this funding, addressing critical needs like rebuilding crumbling bridges, enhancing roadway security, upgrading ports for efficiency, modernizing airport terminals, and expanding public transit and passenger rail services, including the introduction of the nation's first high-speed rail system. These initiatives are not only boosting the American economy by strengthening supply chains and reducing costs, but also enhancing the country's global competitiveness, creating well-paying jobs, and providing economic opportunities for communities of all sizes, including rural and tribal areas. And I have a video from Pete Buttigieg talking exactly about that and more. Take a look.
We now have over 60,000 infrastructure projects, large and small, moving forward across the United States. And it's everything from major efforts that I call the cathedrals of our infrastructure, sometimes multi-state, multi-billion-dollar projects, to a spot like Grand Forks, North Dakota, where this railroad crossing has just been a community headache for years. What unites all of those projects, all 60,000 of them, is not one of them was cooked up in the Department of Transportation headquarters in the Navy Yard in Washington, D.C. All of these projects were developed by communities, by states, by local project sponsors. The philosophy of our infrastructure package is that the ideas aren't going to come from Washington, but more of the funding should, and now it finally is.
Good. That's what investing in America means. We all love Pete. I do agree. Pete gets things done. Pete has to continue on and be a part of Kamala's cabinet. I think yes. I think he will go a bit higher. I think Sullivan will stay too, because he's meeting with, you pointed out yesterday, HBCUs, different, today he was, tomorrow I'm covering 9 a.m. Jake Sullivan's event with USAID or USAID, both works to refer to it, which is very different with congressional members. It's 9 a.m. I will cover it and I'll tell you all the details about it. But I see him staying also and going into some maybe secretary position, because I see like some developments of him joining various meetings. Now, good news from Ukraine. Ukraine destroys major Russian weapons depot in drone strike. So Ukraine has successfully destroyed one of the Russia's largest weapon places, where they kept not just their Iranian drones, but those infamous ballistic missiles, 200 of them that they got from Iran. Remember all this big talk that Iran is sending the missiles and how Ukraine is going to defend itself, and oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. Now I have before and after pictures. Take a look. This is what it was before. Then this happened. Then this happened. And I have a video for you too. So check it out. A swarm of drones targeted the facility of Toropets located in the Tver region, approximately 480 kilometers from the front lines. Somebody's still complaining Ukraine can't strike back. Well, there are other capabilities. The resulting explosion obliterated hundreds of S-300, S-400, and Iskander missiles, as well as North Korean ballistic missiles, generating a tremor equivalent to 2.8 magnitude earthquake. Very nice. Take a look.
Смотри, идет сюда. Офигеть, сейчас. Видели эту волну? Просто жесть. А как светло было, вообще капец. Так, ну я думаю, что пора, парни, блядь.
Woohoo! This one's for reasons I love turning into you, seeing Ukrainian successes. Thank you, Patty. I love seeing that too. That was very powerful fireworks. And these guys are talking in Russian. They're like, "Oh my God, look how light, how bright it is now." And then, guys, we think we gotta go. We gotta go. And then there was this another video. I'll show it to you tomorrow. There was this truck driver who was trying to evacuate those missiles or something. So he was driving it while they were actually burning. Like, imagine burning missiles, and the guy gets inside the truck and starts driving it. Where is the IQ or fear of death or something? Mexico. President Biden today announced the designation of presidential delegation to attend the inauguration of Her Excellency Claudia Sheinbaum Pardo on October 1st. Same time we have vice presidential debate. In Mexico City, Dr. Jill Biden, First Lady, will lead the delegation, and they will present the list of delegation members, the full list, very soon at a later date. Very nice. Now, Israel and Egypt. So, Secretary of State Blinken, I told you he traveled to Egypt. So, he met with Egyptian President in Sisi in Cairo, emphasizing the importance of the U.S.-Egypt strategic dialogue. And remember, Egypt is negotiating, one of the parties that negotiates the Israel-Hamas deal, right? Or Palestine deal. They discussed Egypt's critical water needs linked to Nile River. Blinken also addressed regional security, focusing on efforts to establish a ceasefire and secure hostage releases in Gaza, while thanking Egypt for its mediating role. Additionally, he praised Egypt's support for Sudanese refugees and its initiatives for humanitarian access and peace in Sudan. Now, we still don't hear much about the Israel and Palestine, or Hamas, pretty much negotiations. The latest that we heard is that Hamas has issued more demands, which is slowing down everything, right? And their leader is demanding now to have lifelong protection from Israel, so which could lead to another October 7 attack or worse. So for that reason, it's sort of stagnating. But reporters, we keep asking, we just don't get many answers. Now, remember yesterday, all this thing with pagers? We talked about pagers yesterday, that Hezbollah, Iranian-backed Hezbollah near Lebanon, are using pagers because they can't use phones or anything to be detected. Also, the leader of Hezbollah is also the diplomatic ambassador to Lebanon from Iran. And so a bunch of those pagers exploded. So what Israel did is they hacked the system. A week ago, all of those folks got their pagers. And so they hacked the system and let the battery overheat so it would explode. And so yesterday, I think around 3,000 of those people got hurt, 500 heavily, and I think 9 people have died, or 12 at this point. So today it continued. So video has emerged showing Hezbollah-owned electric devices exploding again in the building in Beirut. There are incoming reports of thousands of new explosions, with hundreds more Hezbollah militias reported wounded and killed. So today they were targeting walkie-talkies. Take a look, and then I have a news report. Walkie-talkies. How many walkie-talkies do they have? Now, here's a news report on that.
Raf, give us the latest on these new reports of more explosions.
So, Anna, in just the last couple of minutes, Lebanese state media is reporting what appears to be a second wave of explosions, both in Beirut, the capital of Lebanon, but also in other areas of the country, including the south near the Israeli border. Lebanese state media is saying that for a second day in a row, it is handheld communication devices that are exploding in people's hands, in their pockets, attached to their belts. It is not totally clear at this point whether this is more pagers that are exploding today or whether this is potentially radios, walkie-talkies. We don't have firm detail. But of course, this is just a startling new development, a little over 24 hours.
I'm just questioning why you don't remove the walkie-talkies and all the devices, right? I mean, yesterday, a bunch of you got killed. Not today. You just keep it on. And I saw negative reports as to saying, look, if this is a method that now will be implemented against Israel, now how would we feel about it? And some people, specifically from the liberal side, posted that, if that is not an attack and a terrorist attack that Israel is conducting against Hezbollah. But then Google what Hezbollah is if you don't know. It's a terrorist organization backed by Iran that goes exactly against Israel, trying to start a new war zone, right, at the north of Israel, near the Lebanese border. And so all those negotiations with Gaza is one thing, but this is another story, that is way more serious even. So, for that reason, I find it difficult to agree, to feel some sort of compassionate with those folks. Don't go there. Don't be violent. Don't kill people, and then you probably won't be targeted with your pagers and walkie-talkies. And by the way, why do they even use pagers? Why don't they want to be seen? Why don't they want to be detected anywhere with their phones? Just think about it before you post comments as to how dare Israel. Please. How accurate, trustworthy are the numbers? I don't think they're trustworthy, Keith. To your point, I don't. That's why it changes also what they will report. I think if so many, we saw the video of this thing exploding, and only 12 passed, and thousands are, I don't think it's real. No. Last thing that I want to share is that Germany has stopped approving war weapons export to Israel. Sources say, again, the sources are Reuters. So it is an interesting thing, right? Because you've heard UK doing the same thing, now Germany. So it's really, and then if you think about Secretary Austin a day ago pressuring Gallant, Israeli part, his counterpart, Minister of Defense, to now persistently prioritize diplomatic solution with Gaza and get the hostages released because they're being killed one by one. So this is a pressure on Israel now. Good, bad, ugly. I'm just reporting what is happening, and certainly I think it's important to keep our eyes like around the globe and what is happening, right? Because 1 year in, where are the hostages? We need to see them. And also, that family was speaking at the DNC, and then suddenly a week later, their son is being murdered by Hamas. So, is media doing a good job highlighting people? We can only guesstimate, but certainly we need them to be out. Netanyahu is losing his friends. Indeed, and he's trying to stay in power. His approval rates are below 30% in Israel. So he's trying to stay in power by force and with force. Okay. On this note, I thank you for tuning in. I'm very grateful that you waited and we spent this time together. I will be live tomorrow in the evening, per usual, 8 p.m., because we don't have anything that will contradict that. Maybe, actually, wait a second. Kamala Harris is having a rally tomorrow, which I will live stream. And I dare to be live at the same time that Kamala Harris is doing a rally. Let me see. The vice president. Just a second. Ask questions, meanwhile. President. Yeah. So tomorrow she will be speaking at an event in Farmington Hills, Michigan, at 8 p.m. Eastern. So I will be live before that, and then I will stream the rally. Good deal? Okay, that's what we're going to do. Probably 7 p.m.-ish, I'll be live, depending on how much we have news. Not this. And then after that, we're going to watch the rally together. I will be streaming it. Actually, let's do this. I'm going to be live with the news. And then from my live stream with the news, I'm going to right away stream the rally. And we're going to chit-chat together while watching the rally. Shall we do that? Wait a second. Tomorrow is what? Wait, tomorrow is the thing. I'm sorry, long day. Tomorrow is the Oprah thing at 8 p.m. too. So she's speaking there and she's speaking there. It's Michigan Central Time. Somebody, please tell me. Please tell me that I'm not stupid. How can she be in two places at the same time? Or is she doing? Okay. Anyway, I'll find it out and I'll post it. Okay. Thank you for today's stories. Thank you. When are you planning the next town hall? Very soon. Probably maybe this weekend, but I want to have our system ready for the town hall to meet within the system so I can explain you what is where, because I want folks with the Eastern. Okay. Thank you. So it's 8 p.m. Eastern, and the live event is also 8 p.m. Eastern. Let me find out. Let me check with their campaign, because that ain't cool. 8 p.m. and 8 p.m. Anyway, weird. well, not that weird, but our own weird, cute weird. So yeah, town hall will be very soon, but within our system, because I want us to test it, and everybody who is the subscriber on the Substack will have first access to our system to create profiles and to enjoy it. So if you are not there, get there. You can do it very much free. So again, honest.substack.com. If you choose to support, I'm very grateful for you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. If you want to join, just to get your newsletters and whatnot, I'm grateful for you too. So again, thank you so much for joining today. I'm gonna find out what's happening tomorrow with the thing. Oprah Kamala will be better. Hey, Janetta, hey! Yeah, it will be better, but I don't understand how she can be in two places, because they said that's live. So what ain't live here? Is the Michigan thing not live? Or anyway, yeah, very nice. Zoom, so it's popular, joins the second hour. Okay, so let's do this. I'm gonna do the live, the news at 7, and then we have our watch party. And at the watch party, you guys decide where are we tuning in first and then last. You're going to work things out. Yeah, I will. No, together. Oprah and Kamala will be together. Yeah, they will be together. So I don't understand how it should be in Michigan at the same time. 8 p.m. Participate in a campaign event in Farmington Hills. So maybe that is okay. Maybe that is the Oprah event, but she's in Michigan for that event. But why is she flying to Michigan and then back to DC for this event? If it's anyway, okay. Maybe they will be. Chinette's right. Maybe they will be together in the same room in Michigan. Okay, I got it. Long day. Long day. Okay, I got there eventually. So your newsletter will be better because it's already written. So not going to be slow. All right. Thank you so much for joining. Have a good night. I'm going to send the newsletter and then sleep. All right. And I hope you will too. Thank you so much for joining, and have a good sleep, and see you tomorrow.